Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Aarsha Vidya Samajam. What is this organization? What does it do? Please listen to this broadcast, this hangout, all the way to the end, because this is going to be an eye opener for many of you. So, before I expand more on AVS, I would like to invite one of the three guests who's going to be gracing our program today, Anaga, Vishali, and Shruti. So, we're going to have Vishali introduce us to what AVS does. You might have noticed the coincidence: Aarsha Vidya Samajam, Anaga, Vishali, and Shruti. Amazing coincidence there. And I'm going to introduce one at a time. Let's start with Vishali. Vishali ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaste, Shriji. Thank you. Thank you for the welcome.
Vishali ji, first off, maybe an introduction about what AVS does so that our viewers can get an idea of what you've been trying to do. You've been around for a while. You can talk a little bit about the Samajam and what are its goals and objectives and how you're progressing. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Shriji. So, Aarsha Vidya Samajam is an educational and spiritual institution established in the year 1999 by Acharya Shri K.R. Manoj ji as per the instruction, Anugraha and Ashirvada of his Guru and Guru Paramparas. Right now, currently we are based in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, and our mission is to fulfill the pancha kartavyas of Sanatana Dharma, that is, Adhyayana, which is systematic study, Anusthana, practice, Pracharana, promotion, Adhyapana, teaching, and Samrakshana, protection. We have two approaches. One is a long-term approach and one is a short-term rescue measure. The long-term mission is to solve the root cause of all the problems that Hindu society is facing today. That is to bring in an educational revolution by eradicating Hindu society's ignorance about Sanatana Dharma and other religions, and giving an education about our culture, our freedom fighters, martyrs, etc. The second one is a rescue measure through which we bring back those who have converted into other religions or who are on the verge of conversion or have inclined towards other ideologies through ideological counseling. And in the past 22 years, we have brought back more than 5,000 people, including both men and women, through ideological counseling, and more than 25 of them are our full-timers today who work fully on service basis. 4 of them have written books describing their experience of how they converted and how they came back through Aarsha Vidya Samajam, and 2 of them are available in English. So this is a little bit about Aarsha Vidya Samajam. Going forward, we'll talk more.
Wonderful. That was a very crisp introduction about what Aarsha Vidya Samajam does. 5,000 people brought back. That's an impressive achievement. Good luck. And that's 22 years. That's a lot of work that you've accomplished. I would like to introduce our next guest, Shruti-ji. And Shruti-ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. Please kindly introduce yourself and then we can start from there.
Namaste, and first of all, I would like to thank you, Sri Ayerji, for giving such an opportunity to represent Aarsha Vidya Samajam on PGurus YouTube channel. Thank you, Sri Ayerji.
My pleasure.
And to the audience, my name is Shruti from Perla in Kasaragod, born in a middle class Havyaka Brahmin family. Although I was born in a Brahmin family and I was observing various rituals, practices, and attending ceremonies, I did not have a clear understanding about my dharma. From a young age, I had numerous questions in my mind when I watched bhakti serials on television, which were based on stories from the Puranas. When I attended ritualistic ceremonies, I started pondering, why do we have so many gods and goddesses? I had many such spiritual questions, and when I asked these questions to my parents or other elders in the community, They either discouraged me from asking such questions, or they gave answers which did not satisfy my intellect. We have often seen many parents discourage their children from asking questions by scolding them because they don't have answers to them, and they don't want to display that lack of knowledge outside. Hence, out of fear of being scolded, I avoided asking them and tried to focus on my studies. But these questions remained in my mind while I was doing my graduate studies. Most of my classmates were Muslim girls, and they were very staunch and practicing Muslims. They used to bring books during Ramzan, considering they are holy, and I was curious to know what is in them. And when I tried to take a look at it, they stopped me. From there on, the importance and commitment they showed towards their religion had drawn me towards Islam. But initially, I had no intention of converting or learning about Islam. These friends kept asking me questions about Hindu Dharma, about the concept of God and spiritual philosophies. Now I understand that they were strategically asking these questions. They asked questions like, why do you worship snakes? Why do you pray to stones? Why do you have an elephant headed god, a god with a monkey body? You worship gods in human form. Your god had died, and countless questions like this. They used to speak very badly about worshipping Shivalinga even. So most of the times when Ishvara Sankalpa of my dharma was being criticized, I was forced to keep mum due to lack of answers. Although I ignored them at first, the questions they asked kept ringing in my mind. I was slowly developing an inferiority complex, and they took advantage of it. Although there were several deities, I believed in one God. Call it any name. And I had a stand that women are to be respected. Although I am not a feminist by the current day trend, my friends and classmates who had studied my nature, my viewpoints, and understood me well presented Islam to me in a way that would attract my perspective. They started to share Islamic lectures and books with me. This continuous exposure to Islamic ideology slowly made me to believe that Islam could be right. But I tried to learn other religions also. I tried reading the Bible, but the very first chapter of Genesis itself left me confused, and I gave it up.
And I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
You grew up in Kasargod. Kasargod
Yeah,
is a fairly significant Muslim majority place, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I think it has only increased more now. So you said that you felt inferior because you could not explain why one god had an elephant's face, another god had a monkey's face, and so on and so forth. So did
Yes.
this spur you to look inward to try and understand the polymorphism concept of Hinduism? Did you try to seek answers on those directions? I'm just curious, and then I'll let you continue with what you're saying.
Yeah. See, already I had a lot of doubts. I told you, no. So I didn't get any answer, any proper answer for that in my childhood. So those questions are questions itself in my mind. Again, the same questions came from my friends. So as I'm unaware about all these answers for these questions, how can I answer? So those all questions left as questions itself. So I couldn't answer for them. I couldn't explain. I couldn't even try to ask these questions again to my parents or any other elders because childhood experiences are there. When I asked, they scolded no. So how can I ask them again? In childhood I got scolding, and again I have to hear the same scolding itself. So I hadn't any trust that I would get any proper answer for that. So I couldn't ask to my elders that time.
One question, were all the girls in your class so religiously well based, or only a few were extremely knowledgeable about their religion?
See, my class was mixed with the Hindu girls and Muslim girls, but majority were Muslim girls.
Right.
These majority girls were very religious. That Hindu girls were religious, but not that much. They will go to temple whenever their time needs,
Correct.
when they
Correct.
need
Correct.
of blessings
Correct.
like that.
Correct,
Okay.
correct, correct. It
Yeah.
is only recently that Hinduism has tried to revive itself. I can completely understand. I mean, even when I was growing up, we never showed that we were Hindus. Even when I used to put vibhuti at home, I would be very careful to remove it before I step out to go to college. I mean, that was I. I mean, I can't make any excuses. At least you're wearing your vibhuti very nicely. I'm not doing that. The point I was trying to make was, how is it that every girl that you came across from Islam was so well educated in their religion? I mean, first of all, there are many facets of that religion: Shia, Sunni, this, that, and so on and so forth. Were they of a particular type, like Sunnis or Shias, or were they all over? How was your experience?
All over, not particularly about Sunnis, or not about particularly about Mujahid or Ahmadiyas like that. Islam is the only that concept is theirs. Uh, Religion, whether it be subparts, like subdivisions may be there, but subcastes may be there in their religion also. But for them, religion is first, and they will unite for this religion. That is the thing.
Now, see, we've seen now that the variations of Islam, like Wahhabi and Salafi, these are
Yeah.
much more radical in their thought process.
Yes.
And when they were trying to talk to you, was there a underlying current that they kind of messaged to you that our religion is superior and that you should convert? How was your experience?
Yeah, they were like that. They were preaching Islam to me like that. Islam is the ultimate truth, and Allah is the only God to be worshipped. Like that, they explained to me and taught me also. And when I went to Ponnani also, from there. They taught me that this India is not our country. Bharat is not our country. It is country of Hindus, and we our countries. Saudi Arabia, like countries where Muhammad born and brought up, and he's sleeping there peacefully, like that. After preaching Islam for his lifetime, like that, they were teaching me. So these are things arousing a type of desire to move away from India and move against to India, because Islam is a true religion, and nobody here in India is realizing this fact. And to make them realize, I was I would have gone to maximum extent to realize the people.
So, how far did your experience with Islam go? Did you actually did you convert to Islam?
Yeah, I took the oath, the Shahada Kalima first, and I converted. Uh, Anybody can convert like that. That is how they teach. And I took the oath Kalima, and I was practicing namaz. I was practicing uh, um, Rosa also. And when I felt that, after reading lots of books and after listening to lots of religious speeches, I realized that, or I came to know that my namas and my Rosa, everything will not be valid until I wear burqa and hijab. Until I become a real Islamic woman. So that only I went out from my home to accept Islam legally. Yeah.
Now, this is really sad. See, when I studied a few decades back, Muslim women, at least in Hyderabad, didn't wear burqas. There were some that would be forced by their parents to do it, but we had a very interesting thing. I mean, they'll wear burqa, get into the bus that will take them to the college. As soon as they are inside the bus, the burqas will come off, and then they'll put them. I mean, they were very open about it. They says, "Look, I like to be this way, but my parents want me to be the other way." And somehow it was very easier to understand. But today is a situation that, let's say there are 50 students in a class and 40 of them are Islamic girls. Is every one of them wearing a burqa today?
Yeah, here in Kerala, situation is like that. Even a small girl, which is aged up to attend madrasa classes, from that age itself, they are wearing burqa. You
Hmm.
won't believe that. Even morning time, during morning time, 5 o'clock or 5:30, if you travel through Kerala streets, no, you can see lots of young, small kids itself wearing burqas. It is compulsory here, and in colleges, in schools, everywhere this becoming compulsory.
When did this start? This trend start? 10 years ago?
Very
20 years ago?
recently, very recently, the trend is begun and became strong and strong, becoming strong and strong. Not became, it's becoming. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So let's continue the story. So they said that you have to wear the burqa. Then what happened?
And to become a realist, a real Islamic woman, I and to practice Islam and to preach Islam and to be away from my kafir parents, I decided to convert legally and leaving behind my family. I went to Maunatul Islam Sabha, which is in Ponnani. uh, it is also called as mini Mecca. My parents traced me through a man missing case, and with the help of police, they rescued me out from the center, and they took me in different places to people like scholars, priests, vaidyas. They try to prove that black magic happened to me. They played black magic to me like that, they thought. But nothing could take out the Islam ideology that had become deeply ingrained in my mind by then. No? As a final attempt, my parents taken me to Aarsha Vidya Samajam to meet Acharya Shri Manoj. I had been hearing about Acharya a lot while they bringing me to Aarsha Vidya Samajam, but I was confident in my faith in Islam and Allah that nothing, whatever they say, nothing or nobody can take me out from this ideology and from these beliefs. I was willing to go to any extent to prove that I am right, my Islam is right. I had resolved to be an Islamic propagator. Yeah.
Well, so how long ago was this? How long have you been at AVS now?
Since 8 years, I'm a full-time worker here in
Oh,
Aarsha Vidya
wonderful,
Samajam.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, once you got back to AVS, did you undergo some, deep studies into Sanatana Dharma? Because it is my belief that you need more than a lifetime to understand this great religion. And I have done a little bit of bits and pieces, and that's only because I host so many people who are subject matter experts. A little bit of that, stays in my mind after I have, hosted them. So, did you have to change your food habits when you converted to Islam?
Yeah, a little bit.
And now you're
Yeah.
back the way you were?
Yeah. They told me that in Islam, every food is acceptable, halal. Halal food is
Hmm.
there, no. So which is considered as halal, you have to eat. That is how they taught me. And I born in a Brahmin family. No, I wasn't. I was not in a habit of having non-veg food. So very pathetically, I had to eat from the egg and non-veg food.
So sorry to hear that. I
Vomiting
kind
like
of,
I
that's what
felt.
I was hinting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I know most Brahmins don't eat meat. I'm not saying all don't. Most of them don't eat, and it depends upon a family to family, and also the place they, grow up in. So back to AVS. So you've been there for 8 years now, and
yeah.
what was the transformative experience for you to feel that this is where I really belong?
See, the 2 hour talk itself is a turning point in my life. 2 hours talk with Acharya Shri Manoj itself is a turning point in my life. And I was very arrogant and very rude that moment, during that moment, no. Very arrogantly, I was speaking to Acharya ji, and very, but how I behaved to in which way I behaved to him. He was very calm and smilingly told me, uh, advised me. Just a thing he advised that you are an educated girl and you are teacher also. So Shruti, you what you have to do. Likewise, he started the talk. But then, very angrily, I spoke to him. No, I'm not Shruti. Don't call me like that. My name is Rahmat. I would like to be called like Rahmat only. And I would speak to you only if you speak based on Quran and Hadith, and not if you speak about Vedas or Bhagavad Gita like that. I don't want to listen because I am not interested in that. I don't believe in that also, and I believe in my holy book Quran. That is how I behaved at that moment. But uh, very very patiently he heard, and he smilingly he told, okay then Rahmat, please be seated, and you think like a human being, no, you have common sense, and you are teacher, and you what you have to do, you are learned enough to differentiate between things about Islam is right or wrong. Then see, just listen or just read through your holy book, and think as a human being, and use your reasoning power and use your intellect, then come to the final decision whether it is right or wrong. If you are still saying that Islam is right, me and my disciples, if you are here, are ready to accept Islam. Or if you are realizing that Sanatana Dharma is right, then you have to show the courage to stand with the right. That is how he advised me, and uh, he made me read one by one verses from the Quran. Then I came to know that the holy book is not holy itself. It is full of blunders. The things which is proven by science itself nowadays is wrongly interpreted there in Quran. It is said in Quran that flat earth theory is there, and lot women to whom I was showing very respect is considered very a commodity in this so-called holy book. Women are considered as a sexual equipment, like that it is in women are explained there in their scripture.
And they didn't have any problem with that, being objectified like that.
No, see, when I read Quran earlier, I was very deep in that belief. So I had having fear about Allah and the hell. So I never attempted to think more about criticizingly about Allah's words that time. When this advice came from Acharya ji, that like a human being, not like a blind believer, not like a blind criticizer, be like a using your reasoning power and intellect, you think and come to the right point. That is how he insisted me, no. So showing a little bit what obedience to that those words, and showing a little bit patience, I could read those verses very patiently, and I could realize the inner meaning from that moment onwards. I began to think, oh my god, is this the concept I thought very true, and is this the concept which I thought very holy and all. Likewise, I felt that moment, if this is wrong, which is right then? If this god concept is wrong, then which is right? That was my situation, was like that moment.
So your big moment was the decision to leave and come and be part of the Aarsha Vidya Samajam,
Yes.
and that decision, how did that come about? Because that is the hardest point in your all your life. You've been doing something, you've invested time in learning a new thing, you've changed your food habits, you're trying to be more Islam than Islam is, and then there is a snap, and you
Yeah.
feel like this is not what I should be doing. Maybe not at that point, but the fact that you decided to go back to Aarsha Vidya Samajam, how did that come about?
The thing, God concept, and the concept regarding women, and the concept of life in Islam, which they interpreted me attracted towards Islam. So when I told all these things, what they told me, Quran proved wrong, and Hadith also proved what is the real thing. So I asked Acharya Ji, you see, what I learned as Islam is different from what you are making me to read. So these are different things. They taught me different ideology, and here I am reading different thing. So which is right, I don't know. The situation became confused, so explained everything, what my friends, what my colleagues, what my students, everyone were explaining to me, interpreting to me, and the books I read, everything. So he told me, you read or studied Islam only from the angle that a strong how a strong believer supposed to do, like that you followed Islam. You didn't follow Islam like a learner. If you are how can we come to a conclusion whenever we learn about or we study about a religion or ideology? What determines whether that ideology or religious theory is right or wrong is based on its Ishvara Darshana and Jivana Darshana, no? So you never went in that way. You went through the path showed by the blind believers. You moved in that way only. That is because you went in a wrong path, and you done lots of wrong to your dharma, and you went away from your Ishvara and your Guru Paramparas and your culture, your family, everything. See, if you are realizing the right, if you are realizing that this is wrongest ideology, you have to show the courage to learn the right thing. Yeah, I showed that also because I wanted to know which is right. I was in a search of truth. So some people showed me wrong path. I moved in that way because I had knowledge only. I couldn't use that knowledge to come to the point that which is right, which is wrong. I couldn't use that knowledge. So someone was not there to guide me, and now I'm getting a guidance to move in a right path. So I used that opportunity. I underwent the course here in Aarsha Vidya Samajam called Adhyatmika Shastram. When Acharya Ji explained about this course to me, the particularity and its importance, he explained to me. Then I felt somewhere, yeah, what thing I was lacking earlier, I'm going to get here. Something is there to learn from Acharya Ji and from this institution. That thought made me stay here itself, and it was very hard to stay here because uh, the past deeds which I done during my Islamic beliefs and all was very much hard to recollect itself now itself. See, I have brought my experience in this book, Story of a Reversion. I think audience can see the name of book, and you people can order for this book, and you people can go through this book also. Uh,
Absolutely. And
Explained.
and
Yeah.
Shruti-ji, the books that you would like us to suggest, send us the
Hmm.
links, and then we will put it in the show more section of the video, and
Yeah.
that way people can get the information and they can buy that. Now,
Yes.
Shruti-ji, what I'd like to do is to park our conversation at this point, and then bring in our other guest, Anaga, who has not yet joined this conversation. And
Yeah.
then what I'll do is I'll go with Anaga, and then with Vishali. And then all three together, I have some common questions where, it's like a round robin. Each one can answer these questions just to make it a little interesting, because life doesn't stop at this point. There is something beyond. And I just want to have some common set of questions that I will ask after we introduce or we meet our next guest, Anagha.